Guys, welcome back to Medical Coding with Blue. Today's episode is all about, do I recommend the AAPC online medical billing and coding training program? Yes, I do. If you're brand new to my channel, welcome. I am Blue, I'm a medical coder. Okay guys, I say a lot on my channel that if you are going to pick a program, at least make sure that you're picking a program that is going to be a good amount of time so that you don't feel like you're rushing. We have to know a lot as medical coders. And even if you don't have a prior background in medical, it's okay. You can be taught this. You can learn this. It is possible. But there is a whole bunch of things that you have to learn, and you need time to learn them. Now, there's a lot of medical billing and coding programs out there that are 60 days. Some are 4 months or 16 weeks. You can be on your way to a brand new career, and you can be earning all this high salary and working remotely and traveling and doing all this stuff in just 16 weeks. And they charge an arm and a leg for this. And really, they're just speeding through everything. And in those programs, because there's either not a lot of medical terminology or anatomy involved in that course, or they're just kind of going through the brush strokes really quickly. And so that's why I say those types of programs I highly do not recommend. And there's some people that tell me, well, Blue, that's all I can afford and I really want to be a medical coder. Well, if that is still charging you like $2,000 or $3,000 to learn their very short program, you know I do have the independent study list with the syllabus, and it has a list of books that you need. You can go through there and you can get the latest 2023 books if you like. You can get the older books for the workbooks if you want to, because you're just working with those workbooks. And there's a lot of the same answers that are in there. Some of the codes have updated, but there's a lot of the same answers, and you can learn it on your own. And again, I post that syllabus for free. I don't charge for that syllabus, but it's out there. So if you really want to do this and you want to do it for a fraction of the cost, you got to have a lot of discipline, and you have to have a schedule for yourself to learn this stuff, and just get the books. And if you're taking the time to learn it, you will be on your way, and you can do it on your own, right? But you're only going to spend a small amount of money compared to some people say, oh, well, I took a loan for $5,000. That's a lot of money that you're going to be paying on, okay? But that aside, guys, you can study independently for this. When I'm talking about 4-month programs, 2-month programs, I'm saying to stay away from those, because they're literally training you way too fast. And it doesn't matter if you have a medical background or not. I've seen nurses struggle, okay? And so it doesn't matter to me if you have a medical background, because when push comes to shove, you're going to learn really quick. Medical coding will humble you fast. It will humble anybody who gets in its way. Trust me. I've been there where it's just like, are you freaking kidding me? But, you know, I learned it, and I learned how to do my research, and so can you. So that's the thing that I want you guys to know first and foremost. I did get this comment, which brought up today's episode about specifically AAPC. Now, I will say a little disclaimer here first. AAPC is not paying me. I am not affiliated with AAPC in any way. I am just a medical coder, and I am affiliated with AHIMA, the American Health Information Management Association. I am a member of them. I have 2 credentials with them. I currently hold the CCS, the Certified Coding Specialist, and the CCSP, the Certified Coding Specialist Physician-Based. So that's me and my career. My channel is about helping people to know that there are 2 major medical coding associations out there that employers want, because there's all kinds of weird, funky ones that are all kinds of credentials that nobody asks for, and you can look in the job listings and you'll see that as well. But the American Health Information Management Association and the American Academy of Professional Coders are 2 major medical coding associations. You can look in the job listings and you will see that time and time again, they are asking for the person to be credentialed through AHIMA or AAPC. Now, I did get a comment from a viewer, and they said, you are like a breath of fresh air and so informative. I'm just now going back through your old playlist, and here's my question. You keep saying that short-term coding programs aren't sufficient. The AAPC course lasts an average of 4 months. Isn't that too short, even if I take the 3 months of prerequisites from them beforehand? Should I look for a longer program or an add-on to the AAPC 4-month course? Thanks, Blue. Happy Thanksgiving. And happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Happy belated. But here's the thing. When it comes to the 4-month programs, and I say stay away from those, I am talking about those ones that are trying to wrap up everything in those 4 months. With AAPC, they have a unique business model, okay? AAPC, they are a business, and so is AHIMA, but AAPC is really clever in the fact that they have different things, right? So what they did is they have a separate module for medical terminology and anatomy, and then they have their medical coding course. So their medical coding course is 4 months average, right? They say it takes 4 months to get to just the medical coding part. You can pay for an extension. Obviously, that's their business model kicking in, right? You can pay for an extension if you need additional time, right? But they say if you're on it, you'll get through it in 4 months. Now, if you add on the medical terminology, you add on the anatomy course, that's an additional time. So that's another 4 months, right? Because they say it's about 2 months to get through just the medical terminology course, right? So if you're adding on 2 months plus the 4 months, that's 8 months, right? If you're adding on additional time to that AAPC, the coding course, that'll make it 6 months, right? So you get through in about 10 months. That's reasonable. That's reasonable because then, okay, now we've got all of this good stuff now, all right? So don't quote me on the times though, guys. You can go to AAPC. Now, again, I'm just a neutral party here. I do recommend AAPC. I have never been through their program, but the reason that I can recommend them against anybody else is because I don't know what these other schools are offering, and I've never been through their school. I don't know them personally, right? I have no relationships with any of these people. But with AAPC, they are the person or the organization that has the exam. So if they're going to train you, who better to get training from than the certifying people who are going to administer the certification or not, right? AAPC. So people will ask me, well, should I do the instructor-led course or should I just do the self-led course? Guys, I've heard complaints on both sides. I've heard of people say, I had the worst instructor. There was no communication. I emailed, there was never a response, or it was a really long, delayed response. That's just what I've heard. Okay, guys, I can't substantiate these things, but this is what I've heard. Now, for me, if I'm a lay person, right, and I'm just coming in and off the street, and I'm like, okay, well, I have this teacher-led, and then I have this independent-led. I might be inclined to go with the teacher-led because I don't know anything about the field or the program. But again, I'm looking at the extra money that I got to spend, right, to get this instructor-led when I can actually hire somebody as a tutor or try to find a mentor, because there's a ton of tutors on LinkedIn. Now, I'm a tutor myself, although I am completely booked for the rest of the year. I will not be taking any new tutoring students until January of 2023. So that is when my calendar will open again, but for the rest of this year, I will not be available. But if you need a tutor, and if you say, I'm gonna go the self-paced route on AAPC, I'm not gonna get the instructor-led, I'm just gonna get the other package, and I'm gonna take that money that I would have spent on that instructor that I don't know if they're gonna help me or not, and I'm gonna find a tutor. So you can go to LinkedIn, you can say, hey guys, I'm looking for a tutor, and you'll see a lot of people say, oh yeah, I can recommend this person, that person, you know, whatever. So you can do that. And LinkedIn is a great place to make those connections when you are a brand new medical coding student. I will say this, guys. Number one rule about LinkedIn, do not complain. If you don't understand something, you need to word it in a way that will make people want to help you. The second you start complaining, because I've seen people get on there and complain about PractiCode, I'm a paying customer and I should have my question answered right away, even though they tell you with Practicode that it's not like a thing where they teach you. It's not a school. It is self-paced, and you are doing that all on your own. And that's what they say. They're not meant to sit there and instruct you on how to do it. So if you're getting upset about Practicode, guys, that's not really a reason to get upset. They're very upfront with what they are offering, okay? So again, don't complain, but if you need help, say, hey guys, I'm a medical coding student and I'm looking for a tutor. Are there any recommendations? That's perfect. And sometimes you may get lucky and somebody will say, well, what's your question? What are you getting stuck on? And then you can say, okay, well, I'm stuck on, injury diagnosis coding, or I'm stuck on CPT modifiers, or I don't understand this, I don't understand that. That's a great way to open up the conversation, okay? So that's something that's an option out there. You don't have to buy everything that's put in front of you, guys. With AAPC, they do offer a lot of packages all the time. They do all sorts of sales constantly. They will have, they're having a Black Friday sale, and then sometimes they'll have a sale towards the end of the month too. Oh, you get this included with your package and that included with your package. And while sometimes it seems like a good deal, right, guys? You don't want to get yourself in over your head, okay? So start simple, start small. Of course, I strongly recommend medical terminology and anatomy course beforehand. You're gonna need it. There are some people out there who tell me, well, Blue, my instructor said I didn't need it. And I would tell them that they are a fool, because yes, you do need it. You absolutely do. Now, I'm not trying to put nobody down, but the thing is, if you don't understand what these things are, it can lead you to the wrong codes all the time. Okay, so that's something that you have to know, and it's very serious. I am constantly on here talking about how serious it is, guys. Trust me when I tell you this. The more you invest in learning your medical terminology and your anatomy, and I don't want to hear you guys say you hate it, because it's so critical to what we do. Now, there's a lot of ways to learn it. You can put up posters. I do recommend putting up posters. I recommend looking on YouTube for anatomy videos, medical terminology videos, something to kind of help you get, oh yeah, okay. And you do it consistently, you will start to build your vocabulary. But in order to build your medical terminology vocabulary, you learn your prefixes, your suffixes, and your root words, guys. You learn those three, you can start piecing words together. It's a heck of a lot better than trying to sit there and memorize whole lists of words, which is really kind of useless, because you never know what words you're going to really need, right? So if you know the prefixes, your suffixes, and your root words, you can piece words together, and it will make your vocabulary really big, right? Because then you'll be able to figure stuff out, okay? So that's something that is really important. But absolutely, I do recommend AAPC for their medical billing and coding program. I also recommend the American Health Information Management Association. They have a 13-course bundle. So theirs is a little different, okay? But they run about the same cost. Overall, they're going to run about the same cost, both AHIMA and AAPC. Now, if people tell you, well, I heard the AHIMA tests are harder. Guys, either association exam can be hard, all right? Because I have had plenty of viewers who were writing in, and I know that they're really smart people, and I know because they're telling me all the things that they're doing to study, and they still manage to fail with AAPC. So there's not one association that is easier than the other, okay? AHIMA has a really weird setup with theirs, though, I will say that. Because they give you the cost of the program, which is about $3,000. Then the books are not included with that. Okay, so that's another $1,000, $1,500 depending, right? On which books you're getting. So that's another on top of that. So it's about $5,000, a little under $5,000, right? So there's that, and it's the same thing with AAPC. Now, if you say, well, no, Blue, I got it on sale. All right, but there's all the other things that they're going to try to sell you too. Practicode, They're going to try to sell you an additional credential that you don't even need because all you need is one. Because remember, every single credential that you add on with AAPC, it's going to cost you more money. With AAPC, one certification costs you 36 continuing education units every 2 years, right? So every 2 years, you got to come up with 36 continuing education units for one certification. Now, if you add on, that's going to go up. The number goes, I think it was 42 is the next one. I don't know. Guys, don't quote me. All right. Look on the website. But it does go up. Okay. And now when you think about this, yes, AAPC does offer free CEUs with their membership. However, you cannot earn these CEUs before you get your certification. You can only earn them after you get your certification, because anything that you earn beforehand will not count towards the credential maintenance, right? You're 36 if you're with AAPC. Now when you're with the HEMA, it is 20 for one certification. 20 CEUs for one certification with that, but that is, keep in mind, they have the degree one. So I'm not talking about the degrees. I'm talking about the medical coding certifications, the CCS, the CCA, or the CCSP. Any one of those three, just one, it costs you 20 continuing education units, okay? So, and then you can also look on their website to see about additional credentials and how much does that cost and that kind of thing. But it's just something to kind of keep in mind. When you're brand new, all you need is one. I started with one. I started with the CCA, okay? The Certified Coding Associate, which is a fine credential. There's a lot of people out there who don't know about it, but I'm here to tell you that I will always recommend it because it did a world of good for me. And I changed a lot of hearts and minds around me because they found out what I knew being a CCA, right? Because CCA has to know inpatient and outpatient coding. And that's a heck of a lot more than somebody who only knows the outpatient side. That means that CCA can actually go anywhere and apply. Inpatient positions, outpatient positions, not just pro fee or professional fee, right? They can code for the facility side with PCS, all right? So that's something that you got to know. You have to understand these credentials. You only need one. I've done so many videos about the credentials breakdown, and I'll try to leave them, try to leave a link in the description box. But that's what you have to know there, okay? I know it's a lot. I know it is. But if you want to start off with AAPC, that's totally fine. Keep in mind also something else. It is $190 currently. The price is supposed to go up, okay, for their yearly membership dues. You have to pay that every single year you hold their credential. If you do not pay it, they will revoke your credential. So it's a lot of money if you're thinking about it like, well, you know, I heard about this and I heard about that. I mean, it's up to you. Both associations have their pros, obviously, and their cons, you know, but there's pros and cons to every single situation, all right? If you're going to go with the HEMA, the American Health Information Management Association, they will charge you a separate fee if you are not a member to report your CEUs. And that's just for their administrative costs. It's really not that bad. It's certainly not $190 every single year. So that's just something that you got to know there. It is important because the amount of money that you spend now is also going to impact you further down the line with how much money you want to continue to spend. Now, here's the other thing too. If you want to go through the AAPC training program for that outpatient side, and you say, well, I don't know if I want to get a credential with AAPC. I think I want to go with AHEMA. You can still sit for the CCSP, the Certified Coding Specialist Physician Based. That is the whole outpatient credential. It's nothing but outpatient coding there. Now, you can sit for that one if you've been prepared for AAPC. However, keep in mind this, because I know somebody said, no, Blue, hold on, hold on. There are a few things that make the CCSP unique. You can look on the AHEMA website and it will tell you all the domains. Now, there's a couple of other things on that exam that are obviously not covered in that program for the CPC credential. So make sure that you check out AHIMA and you see those requirements for the CCSP. So that way you can make sure that if you're self-studying that part on your own, you can be prepared for that exam, okay? Now that test is a 4-hour exam. CCSP is a 4-hour exam. The CPC is also a 4-hour exam. But keep in mind this also, the CCSP, if you pass it, when you take your exam and you go to Pearson VUE and you pass it, you will walk out of there with a CCSP. Okay, granted that they're not in a beta period, right? But they're not in beta period right now. Beta period just means that they have to wait until a certain amount of people take their credential exam and then they release the scores, right? They're not in that right now. But if you take that CCSP and you pass it, you're going to walk out of there with the CCSP. When you take your CPC, if you decide to go with AAPC and you take your CPC and you walk out of there, you're going to have the CPC-A, okay? Unless you go through an approved AAPC program and you go through Practicode and you complete it. Once you do those two things, then you can then you'll have your CPC, right? When you complete it. But if you don't, and you only do Practicode, but you went through another program, like maybe at a college or something like that, and they say, hey, we prepare you for AHIMA or AAPC, and you decide to go Practicode, you're going to have that apprentice status on your credential for 1 year. Now, can you get a job with the apprentice status? Yes, you can. I know, because I've helped many a people with their resume, and many a people with the apprentice status did get a job. So that's something that you have to know, guys. And I'm not doing any resume rewrites, just so you guys know, again, until January of 2023, okay? But when you do all of those things, then yes, you can get that. But again, guys, look at the dollars that you are spending. And I know for a lot of people, you want to get into a brand new career, you want something different, you don't have to break the bank just to get into a new career. That's why I had the independent study video out there. That's why I provide the syllabus. And I don't do it for any other reason other than I'm just trying to help people. I ask for no glory on that. It is just simply because I want to do the right thing. This field is very important to me in the fact that I love what I do. This was a gift to me. I went through the WIA program. When I went through it, it was WIA. Now it's WIOA, the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. And they paid for my school. That was how I was able to get into this. So this is my way of paying it forward, definitely. And I will continue to do this as long as you guys watch. But yes, that is absolutely my advice. If you want to go through AAPC, it's totally fine. I do recommend their program. Yes, you do need to take anatomy and medical terminology. It is very important. But if you've already had that and you're coming in as a nurse and you say, okay, I want to just jump into the coding, I would go for that extended time. You know, don't just rush through. Don't just say, oh, well, I'm a nurse and I can make it through in 4 months, guys. It sets yourself up for success. You know, take your time. If you need that extra time, then just pay for the additional time. There's really no rush when it comes to learning. There's another YouTuber that I watch, his channel, Rick, is Think Like a Horse. He always says the slow way is the fast way. When you learn it slow, you will be able to go faster. But if you're trying to learn it fast, you're going to go slow. That's just my advice anyway. Thanks to Rick. So I'm going to wrap this one up. Thank you guys so much for watching. If this video helped you, please like, subscribe, and share, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.